Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Hey, welcome everyone. Thanks for stopping by, hanging out. What's up? Hello, everybody. Well, that's not right. That's not right. Ah! Give me a second. Give me a minute. I keep shrinking. No. Give me a second. All right. I'm gonna fix it. I swear to God, don't make me bust out the top hat. I will bust out this top hat. Copy link. What happened? Oh. These are two different sized images. Huh? What? Okay, hold on. The future of IO is this. Smile. All right, I'm about to get super big. Hold on. I'm about to explode. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I told you I was gonna become super big. Give me a second. Oh my God. There we go. I did it, yay, I figured it out. Anyways, hi everybody. Apologies about that. Definitely didn't mean for that to happen. Hey everybody. The future of IO is tech issues. Well, you know, tech issues have always been a thing, you know? Tech issues have always been a thing and an issue. So that is something that we will be discussing. I apologize if I'm a little beat or tired today. We just had a hurricane blow through here. I'm fine, everything's fine. You know, I still got power, clearly, that I'm here today. And nothing got damaged, so I'm good to go. But I'm helping out my family around the area who were not as fortunate as I was. So I've been, you know, taking out debris, moving a bunch of stuff, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it's so if I'm a little tired, it's because I've been out in the sun all day. I tried to take a little sleepy nap. That didn't work out too well. And now I'm drinking some caffeine in the hopes that I can wake up and talk to you guys about the future of IO. Woo! So, before we get started, if you came here out of the fear that I was about to show up and be like, IO's canceled, no more IO, I'm done. You got nothing to worry about. You got nothing to worry about. If you came in here thinking that, that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening over there. So, yeah, you know, that is what we're gonna be talking actually about things that some exciting announcements and some big changes that are coming our way. If you watched, if you've been reading any of our community posts or been over on Discord, a lot of this is gonna be very familiar to you. So, so yeah. It's going to be something that we're going to talk about, something that we're going to go into. And the first thing that I really want to kind of like bring up and talk about is what we're doing right now. This is what we are calling our IO Fireside chats. So, because I won't be around as often on the streaming side of things, I did want to take the time and opportunity to speak to you all on sort of a monthly basis, kind of let you know what's going on, what we're working on, big news, all sorts of things, moving around, everything like that. So it's something that it's something that I did want to make sure we talked about, we confirmed. all that stuff, and yeah. So that is what we're doing today. So we've got a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about. And I also want you guys to feel encouraged to ask questions and all those kind of things. But I figured the best way to show you the notes or give you the drop down is if we just had notes. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's talk about this. Meeting notes. And I don't know how to get rid of this shit, so I'm just going to move that up there so I can hit enter. My eyes. Look, I'm in dark mode right now. Here, I'll make it better. How's this? Is that better? If we do this, if we do reverse dark mode, reverse. If I go reverse dark, yeah, that works. There we go. I'll definitely want to make everything a little bigger. Is that good for you? Is that better with your eyes? Well, yeah, gremlin mode, absolutely. Your eyes stay, hey, no problem. So happy to let you know what's up. So, yeah, let's go ahead and, peek behind the screen, as it were, so we can actually talk to you about the future, what we're doing, all sorts of, just kind of get into it and let you know what we're working on behind the scenes, because we are working on a lot of stuff. So I guess, someone mentioned it, I haven't really been around that often in September, so, absence from streaming. Let's talk about that. I kind of want to get into that. So, you know, before I was doing sort of a variety combination of, like playing games as well as doing D&D shows. But recently I've decided that I will not be streaming gameplay anymore. I know why you guys are here. You know, the primary audience is Dungeons and Dragons and D&D. It is the IO campaigns, and that's kind of also, you know, that this right here has also been my focus, and I'm actually been pretty happy about that. So if I were ever to return to gameplay, it would be because of a sponsored stream, or I would start a separate channel. And that's kind of that's sort of like the idea of what I would it would be because of that. Me looking at my shopping list. This is how I like to get my notes across. Also, the reason why I do it this way is because if someone comes in late, they go, what's been talked about? You got the notes right there, baby. You got the notes right there. You got nothing to worry about. So, yeah. But as far as myself, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I have no plans to go or retire or do all that stuff. You know, it's, we're still going to be doing that. IO will still be going strong. All that fun stuff. Is definitely things that we're gonna be doing. So, Brent's not gonna enter the Shadow Realm exactly. So, I mean I think that was like a little minor subject right there, right? Okay, so let's talk about the big thing that I'm sure you guys have been hearing about by now. I've been talking about it for a couple of months, so I'm hoping this isn't going to be news to anyone, because I've been talking about it a lot in the hopes that when we do finally break the silence on it, that it's something that no one's going to be super shocked for. But yes, IO games, IO campaign games will now be pre-recorded. Okay. Who here did not know that we were going to be moving over to pre-recorded campaigns instead of live streamed version ones? I feel like this was something people knew pretty much. I did not know that. So some people did know it. Some people did know it. And that's primarily why I wanted to do this stream. So yeah, I said it too much. Well, there it is. Previous stream. Filthy casual. Hey, that's okay. That's all right. So, let's talk about this, you know? Let's go ahead and talk about this because we kind of broke the news here on the community. We made a community post on YouTube. I've talked about it several times over on our Discord channel. And yeah, I just felt like this was the best way to do this. So why pre-recorded? Let's go ahead and start with that. Why have we decided to move over to pre-recorded? Well, live stream games are prone to a lot of error, and we're talking all sorts of stuff: tech issues, audio issues. I mean, these scheduling, sudden campaign cancellations. Like these are some issues that we've been dealing with for quite a bit when it came to that. So it was it just is, you know. I spelled campaign, sudden campaign cancellations. Yeah, sudden camping cancellations. So it's caught, and it's so because of that, also unrealistic back end expectations. So this right here. Why was Pipe Dreamers canceled, by the way? Life changes and scheduling issues. That's a question that comes up very frequently. Why was X campaign? Actually, you know what? I'm going to add that right now because I know I'm going to get this. Why was X campaign canceled? The answer will always be life changes and scheduling issues. So there it is. Okay. I'm gonna just kind of, there we go. So yes, yes, that's it. I know people really would love to have more of a bigger answer than that, but yeah. And I know there's some people here that are looking at live stream versus pre-recorded, and you're immediately thinking it's Jover. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. I'm also going to tell you there's a lot of cool things that are coming down the pipeline because of it. So yeah, and I am so beyond happy to prove that to everybody, because that seems to be one thing. That seems to be a very misconception that the games are going to change for the worse because the live element is there. And what I'm trying to let you guys know is it's absolutely not going to change anything in a negative standpoint. So let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. For me, I ask only because the campaign cancellations are only ever announced on Discord or such, and thus for me, they just end and never continue. Yeah, exactly. Go to Discord and see what our cancellations is. But yeah, that's why we have these fireside things. So absolutely. As someone who's not caught up, guys, Pipe Dreamers has been dead for over a year now. So the fact that this is still news to people is shocking because it's an answer I've had to say multiple times. So, yeah. All right, so here we go. Let's go into this. So here it is. What are the cons of moving from live stream to pre-recorded? So, for those that are against the idea, I would love to hear your concerns. And I will tell you right now, I feel very confident. All right, so someone said chat interaction. Here's my answer to that. DMs and players rarely interact with chat during the D&D games. So, no chat interaction. That's not gonna be an issue. It was all there. It literally didn't happen. The banter between characters. No heavy editing will be done with pre-recorded sessions. So let's talk about editing. Session edits. This is what will be edited out. Long stretches of dead air, technical issues. That's it. That's it. That's pretty much it. For those that are actually worried, about IRL banter being removed, nope. We're keeping that. That's all it is. We're definitely keeping that. I mentioned the players I know of who interact and it's fun, but generally, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, they shouldn't be interacting to begin with. If right now, if you're saying, well, they're not going to interact with me in chat. First of all, that's a little parasocial. But second of all, another thing I would bring up to that argument, right, is, well, A, they shouldn't be directly talking to you in chat during the sessions. But also, what was I about to say? We're still live streaming these sessions. So that's also another good thing. That's a concern. Chat community. Pre-recorded sessions will still be premiered as live streams on Twitch and YouTube. And no, not YouTube's shitty premiere system. I mean, that's also another thing. Yeah. I still want it to be a live stream show. It's still gonna be a really cool thing. So let's go into, as we're hopping around, we're actually gonna add that to the pros. So this right here, by the way, are the most common concerns when it comes to hearing the announcement that we're going from, I'm turning this down just a little bit. These are the common concerns that usually comes up when someone announces that they're moving to pre-recorded instead of live streamed. These are usually the common things that people would talk about is, oh, what about the chat interaction? You know, well, if you're editing stuff, am I gonna miss things that you're gonna deem irrelevant? Or, you know, hey, but I like the live stream environment and I like watching it on stream. Everything here is addressed. We don't talk to people we usually don't talk in chat. Sometimes we do have players that are in chat, and you still will see those players hop in chat to watch the episodes as they come out. So I know there will be plenty of individuals and people who are still going to show up to this. So that's going to be good to go. And yeah, with the chat community, we're going to be live streaming this. Yeah, you might actually see more because the players are playing the game. They won't be distracted by the game there. Downside, update 10 jokes being gone because they could be edited out. Plus side, oh, I'm so sorry. Hold on, let me add that there. I miss the I'll miss the technical issues. Really? Yeah, man. Well, you got me there. That's something I guess I can't do there. I don't think Critical Role Switch is a good comparison. The main thing that ruined their energy was them playing multiple games per day, which won't apply. Yeah, absolutely. Also, big thing, just don't compare us to Critical Role or Dimension 20. because they play such a different style of game from what we play. It's what we're doing, I feel, is very different when it comes to the big boys of stuff. Everyone, when everyone's looking at D&D shows, and I'm not bashing people that do it, because I got friends that do it as well, but more often than not, it's just a bunch of friends on a webcam or in a live studio or shit like that, and we don't do that. We have a very big, heavy emphasis on virtual tabletop play, with Foundry, with all the visual effects that we have, the reaction imagery, all that stuff. So, I mean, this right here, and I want to be clear about this change. This isn't a change that I took lightly or was really stubborn about. I had to think long and hard about pre-recorded. Okay. Okay, first of all, before I get into this, because we're actually going to the pro side, because I really want to start getting to the positives. Any other concerns that we might be missing? Will the length of episodes change? They might. Episode length. There is more of a possibility of longer episodes now because of this. And the reason why it was, you missed mine, you're just gonna have to say it again, but the chats are going pretty fast. There is more of a possibility of longer episodes. So let me explain this. So we usually start at a certain time. We usually move forward on there. If I'm waiting for players, or we're doing a little bit more setup, or we're doing anything like that, at that point in time, we start later then. You know, sometimes we'll start, if we're supposed to start at 4, we'll start at 4:10 or 4:20 or 4:30, all that shit. You know, it becomes an issue. So we're starting late. If we get to a certain point in the story, because we have everyone there for a 3-hour slot, I have to sometimes end the session early because we don't have that amount of time. So that ends up getting a lot of things cut out. So right now, episodes are there around an hour and a half to 2 hours, essentially. Sometimes we get to the 2.5 hours, but that usually has been the average of that. I'm thinking, you know, we're definitely going to have episodes that are going to be under 2 hours, but I'm going to see a lot more episodes over 2 hours, or maybe even getting closer to those 3 hours. And yeah, so, well, one downside, but that's on you to decide, would be the extra effort of video editing. Extra effort to make a better product, I am always down for. In fact, we already have video editors set up. So there it is. Less nerves can make it easier, RP. I'm still concerned. Please tell me more of your concerns. My point stands, the vibes are different if you're not in front of a live audience, and it could negatively affect how players interact with each other. We'll see. We'll see if that ends up being the case. I do work with streamers for a living, and they pre-recorded things all the time. And I think if your concern is they're not in front of a live audience, it's going to change the way they act. I don't think that's going to be the case, because I know everyone that I'm working with, you know, and yeah, these are professional individuals and people that dramatically or desperately change their behavior in front of a live audience compared to where they would be without them are usually people that I don't play with, essentially, because I like the genuine interactions. And again, players really don't look at chat. And I don't want to break anyone's heart when it comes to that. You know what I mean? People get upset because you're like, oh, but I'm not being seen. Well, we're playing a game so we can entertain you. So again, yeah. Keep a hardcore series going. It's always good to see. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so we'll get in that Craigified. I'm definitely, this is for the IO main campaigns, and we'll get in that later. But yes, there will still be, for the time being, live streamed games. So there will still be some live streamed games. So yeah, exactly. So there it is. All right, someone was mentioning I don't. Gotcha. Okay. Any other concerns? We'll talk about. Yes, I heard fan art. No fan art? What the fuck? I got an emoji for you. You want to use it? And I'm like, no, man. Get out of here. Fan art sessions. Fan art will be part of pre-show now. And it will be all fan art of a story beat will be collected and shown off weekly and continued to build upon. And because to me that is not enough, we will be having a wrap up stream at the end of story beats. So what does that mean? That means live stream with all the players talking about the game, viewing the season's entire fan art catalog, so that our artists can actually get to see players reacting to fan art. So that is the fan art concern. Now we get into the bingo concern. If I can somehow get this down. No bingo? Brown. And the answer to that, I could just freaking get Google. There we go. Bingo will continue. It will be a community event, something that everyone can still enjoy. And also, remember that wrap-up stream? Hold on, I gotta move this up here. Yeah, remember that wrap-up stream? We will be playing every bingo sheet that was made during that stream, which means we'll actually have a mega bingo where we go through everything. And the reason why that we're doing this is bingo is a great recap. And to play all the bingo at the same time allows us a lot to recap on. So, bingo is still not going away. Fan art is not going away. Episode length. Episodes are going to get a little more larger. Banter between characters will remain. There has never been chat interaction. There has never been different energy in front of that. The chat community will stay because we will still live stream this. And I want to be clear why I'm listing off all of these concerns, right? I want to be clear about this. I'm not doing this to be petty. I'm not doing this to be like neener. I got it and you're wrong. I'm doing this to show you that I have thought of every possible downside to this, and I found a solution for it. I was like, what should we do about fan art? I like fan art. The players like fan art. What are we gonna do about that? And we've got it right here. We're still showing it off during pre-show. And also I know fan artists really like it when they get to see reactions from us. So we'll do a big, major wrap-up stream at the end. Except for us missing tech issues. Yeah, well, you're all freaks. And yes, no, if there is a funny moment with a tech issue, yes, we will keep that in. Not to worry. Oh, so you're a show off. I guess I'm sure if that's the way you'd like to take it. Same with bingo. I was like, what's a good solution for bingo? I do want to mention though to this, right? For the bingo, still give bingo suggestions. If there are no suggestions, if there are not enough suggestions, we can't do a bingo. That's it. That's it. Will there be 2 or more stream times for viewers? Sven, I'm glad you asked that. And we're actually going to talk about the pro side. Once we get to the pro side, we're going to talk about that. I want to get out of the con side. But I also want to make sure we've addressed all of the major concerns. Right? I just want to make sure. Could there be a video of tech issues? Jesus Christ. Any other concerns? We talked about fan art. We talked about bingo. We talked about chat interaction. We talked about still live streaming. And we talked about like IRL banter. So will the whole sessions be pre-recorded? Does that mean we will be watching stuff recorded from months ago? Yes. That is exactly what that means. Boundary VTT modules. That's not what this is going to be about. What about cancel campaigns? Will they be shown or discarded? Every campaign that has been canceled is not coming back. I want to make sure that is completely clear. It's not coming back. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I just don't. Viewers like to hold on to hope and try to like get those things they love back, and I understand. You know, I feel bad, and I wish these campaigns could return in some way. But we'll talk about campaign active and stuff like that. But I at this point have no interest in returning to old canceled campaigns from a long time ago. I think if a campaign gets canceled going forward, that's what we're going to talk about as well. Oh, I think they mean that. Okay. I see what you're saying. One of the questions that has come up is, hey, so now that the scheduling is going to be better, and we'll talk about the pro side of that, can we bring back old campaigns? And I just tell people, no, absolutely, we're not bringing it back. I have to say that because I don't want people to hold on to that hope. You know what I mean? Will this be implemented next week? No. Okay, all right. So it looks like that's pretty much it. Those are the main things. Those are the big concerns, and I expected those to be the main concerns. So let's move out from here. Let's move out to the negative side, the boo, cons, boo. But I wanted to rip that Band-Aid off for you guys, yeah? All right, how do we do this? Okay, let me shrink this down. So yeah, boo negative. Boo negative. I don't want it. I don't want it in my life. Okay. Guess I'm just... Here we go. So let's talk about the pros. What are the pros of moving to pre-recorded? And here's some. So here, some people are already talking about this, so I really wanted to be clear about this and kind of loop it around a little bit, you know, because some people were asking a bunch of questions. I know this is very exciting. I know this is very nervous. I know change is scary. I totally understand that. You know, I get it. So let me tell you what the plus sides are. I'm actually gonna try and recall things that people have already brought up in chat. We're gonna have 2 different stream times where we're gonna show off the pre-recorded sessions. We're gonna have one for the US audience and one for the EU audience. So that means you're probably gonna see a 7 p.m. or an 8 p.m. EST show And then here, you know, I don't have the exact EU-friendly time, but you're probably going to see an 8 a.m. or a 9 a.m. EST show for the EU audience. Essentially, a little over 12 hours later. So that way, for people that are constantly missing the streams because we're primarily a US, we now have the ability to have a morning version of those streams as well as an evening version of those streams. So you do have different ways to catch these shows, right? So there it is. We've got 2 different streaming times. Canceled shows don't get premiered. So essentially what we're doing is we will be pre-recording an entire story beat. When it's complete, we'll be streaming them weekly. Okay? So this avoids the whole, man, it really sucks when a show just randomly stop. I premieres so much on YouTube. We're not doing premieres on YouTube, Craig. We're not doing premieres. We're not doing premieres at all. How is that a pro? Well, Chad, so happy that you announced that. Let's talk about this. Yeah. Let's talk about this. So why is this a pro? Well, right now we do 3 on, 1 off. That means we do 3 sessions live and then 1 week off. Why do we do this? Because A, need a break. I am just an individual. B, we need time to make more content for the campaigns. But also at the same time, scheduling nightmares, scheduling is no longer an issue. So if we do live stream games, right, I do 3 on, 1 off, which leads to a break in a story break while you guys are actually moving into everything. Making it weekly means every week you will be coming here and then watching a session. You'll be coming here and watching a show. You'll know that if we premiered something, it's gonna be from start to finish. You're actually gonna get the full experience. It'll be a weekly thing. And also, here's the thing. Even though we do 3 on and 1 off, emergencies happen. Sometimes players can't make it for whatever reason. Sometimes players get really busy. I mean, it just makes it difficult. And so if we're off for a few weeks at a time, and then you come back, one of the biggest complaints I hear from audiences are, what happened again? It was so long ago. God, now we're back. It's been so long. And you kind of get out of that viewing environment. I would love for audiences to have a story beat that they could come back to reliably week after week without having to worry about a sudden life change that immediately ends a campaign, or a sudden cancellation because emergencies have happened. So it's some reliability. Exactly. This makes it way more reliable. Also, I saw a person mention I would rather have something than nothing when it comes to that. I'm going to let you know right now, you think you want that. But as someone who has dealt with the onslaught of upset people that Pipe Dreamers has ended for a year now, lol, no you don't. Lol, no you don't. I'll tell you that right now. You think you want it, but you don't want it. You might be one of the rare small groups that do want it. Okay? And that's, hey, wonderful, great. And also, I'll be clear, if we have to cancel a campaign midway through, we can at least be a bit more vocal about it. We may not live stream it, but we could always release it as a different date. There's different options we can have. And at the same time, I can have more communication with you. That's the big thing. If we record, let's say we record 6 episodes and we had to cancel me for some reason, later on in the future, I may just release those 6 episodes and be able to communicate with everyone. Hey, you know, just FYI, this is an incomplete show. You've been warned. Pipe Dreamers was everyone's favorite. It was one of my favorites too. And guys, I get it. You wanted to come back. I get it. And I understand you're mourning it, and I understand you want to let me know how much you miss Pipe Dreamers, but I have been hearing it for a year now. I'm tired of hearing it. And I get it. This is your first time you get to express it. You're not going to find any sympathy on my end. I'm exhausted from it. And I desperately am trying to find a solution so I never have to go through that again. I just want to make sure we're completely clear on that. I get it. You miss it. I get it. These are the things. I get it. I understand. There's nothing more I can give you. I am tapped dry when it comes to sympathy on the subject. I'm tapped dry because it's been a year of this. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. You guys are free to vent the way you want, but if I come across as cold or tired or dismissive, it's because I've heard it all for a year now and I'm done with it and I want to move on. Just what a Discord can't. We have Discord things. We have scheduling. We've got pinned messages. I've made community posts. I bring it up during streams. I have done it. Any suggestion you have for me, I've done it. I'm just letting you know. So anyways, we're moving on from that. Yeah, so that is why this is a pro. Is now we get to premiere an entire series once it is finished and show you guys on a weekly basis. So there it is. New con, potentially people spoiling the first stream time. Edward, I don't think I understand that. Also, pre-record means if you do cancel, you have a chance to try to schedule a last session because of BoomGomp. That's exactly it as well, Sergeant Rico. We have more options at that point. You know? We have more options about that. So, yeah, absolutely. Back to streamers. Yeah, I'm not entirely certain what that last thing is because I think that was always an issue. So, yeah. Next up, so we've got that. We now have 2 different stream times. We now have cancel shows just don't get premiered. And I'll even add a little note. Or if they do, we can give a disclaimer. Because I'm actually not sure what I would do if we've already recorded a bunch of episodes. And then we just have to stop in the middle of it. So will it be a pre-recorded series or seasons? Yeah, so we're going to talk about seasons and what we're renaming to that and why we're renaming that here in a second. So when I say story beats, I'm talking about seasons. We're actually calling them modules now. And essentially, it's a cohesive story from beginning to end. So, another pro for this is, honestly, and I think you guys have probably been wanting this for a while, better audio. Just better audio quality. I can record everyone's direct microphones. And we can professionally audio balance in post. Okay. Yeah, I understand sometimes the audio is shit. My argument to that is live streaming, baby. That's another thing, you know, is the live streaming part of it. And people going, why can't he balance his audio? Well, I am trying to balance audio between my audio, the game's audio, and 5 to 6 people in Discord who have wildly different microphone settings and levels and gains and pitches. That it's really hard to get it perfect. It's really hard to get it perfect. So now we can just have a better audio quality, which will lead to just a far better product. So So yeah, we got better audio quality, and also edited effects. So let me talk about edited effects for a second, because I know people look at change and go, I don't want to be distracted, or I don't want this, or blah 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 blah. We can add things like we can add little effects like from like you'd see during the shorts. So things like spell effects can actually be made or visible. Maybe a fireball throwing in, maybe camera zooms. You know, these are things we can explore more to enhance an episode. Okay. So I do want to add a thing. To this, because I know someone's gonna come out and be like, oh, but what if that ends up being too distracting? You know, what if? Keep in mind, we will always find what adds value, not what takes it away. So let's just be clear about that. With edited effects, we wanted to enhance the experience. We don't want it to distract from the experience. So yeah, you're not gonna get like, because some of the shorts can get a little bit memey with like emotes and stuff. You're not gonna get like, it's not gonna feel like a giant short. It's gonna feel like a well-produced episode where you can actually see better visual effects, maybe add some added sound effects, all sorts of things about that. Yeah. Hey, Brett, you also answered a question about subtitles in Discord. Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily go with this, but yeah, you know, eventually we would love to hire someone to handle subtitles for all of our shows. So yeah. Will campaign crossover still occur with pre-recording? Yes, they will. Especially in a big environment like that. I mean, they will, or we might live stream that. I don't know yet. I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided that. So my knee-jerk reaction is with big crossover events, like big crossover battles. I think honestly pre-record is going to be the way to go. I know people really enjoy like the big campaign crossovers, but it ends up being incredibly stressful, not only for myself, but for the players running. I don't know if anyone's ever DM'd with 11 or 12 people at the table. It's not great. It's not a fun experience for anyone involved. It's something that people seem to enjoy to watch, but it really is very, very not. It's not really a great experience. It can be fun and it can be excited, but yeah, it's not something I like to do. So that's why usually when we do crossover events, we kind of split it up a little bit with everything, you know. So yeah, absolutely. So we got edit effects, better audio quality. We're gonna have a set schedule now. We can't do cancel shows, and yeah, I'll actually add that here. A reliable schedule. Don't have to worry about cancellations or break weeks. So yeah. It must be in the minority. It's too many players. You're not in the minority. It is too many players, but people like to watch it and not necessarily run it. Better content warnings. Yeah, we can do that now. We can actually have more accurate content warnings. So if there is like something that we're like, yeah, let's go ahead and add a warning here, we can actually do that. We'll try our best, but we're always human. So this means I can't guarantee, even though I like to give the content warning, I can't accurately give you, I'm not a expert when it comes to what kind of content warnings to give. So leave comments for content warnings that you'd like to see in each episode. We'll try our best, but it's not something that we can guarantee. Sneak peek new, yeah, we're gonna talk about all that. So absolutely. I've DM'd 9 people. Well, so combat is fine. Like I can manage a combat of 9 to 10 people. It's when there's role play moments and people are doing their own things. It's actually very difficult. But you actually have a chance to review it for those warnings. Yeah, it is going to be better. I just want to make sure that this this right here is absolutely highlighted. We'll still have the same sort of we'll still have the same warning we usually like to give, which is, you know, this may contain adult situations. If there's definitely during a session where a player's like, hey, I think we should add this content warning, we'll definitely do that. We're gonna try is the best way that I can describe it. Because when it comes to, for example, like Dimension 20 or Critical Role, I think people tend to forget that it's more than just a bunch of friends playing D&D. These are multi-million-dollar corporations that are running a D&D show. You've got full teams of people. And as happy as I am with our size, I am extremely happy with the community that we've built. I do not want a Critical Role size audience. I do not want a Dimension 20 size. I don't want it. If it happens, it happens. I don't want it. It's what I'm trying to say. But anyways, the side thing that I'm stepping out, I want to go ahead and put though, is that there's only so much that can be done, and to just kind of give it patience and time when you're comparing to other shows is, I guess, the best thing I'm gonna show, right? So absolutely, yeah. Body horror, arachnophobia, yeah, those are good things. Also, like, keep in mind, like, if you watch an episode and you're genuinely triggered. Brett doesn't want a million people ask me about pipe shapers. Thank you, smartest man in the world. He gets it. He gets it. If you've ever been triggered by an episode, please leave a comment, so that way we can address that and then make and then add the content warning. It definitely, when it comes to like subtitles and content warnings and things like that, it is going to be more of a community effort than anything. Just FYI, you know, because we all have different backgrounds, different experiences. We've all been through different things, so what I've experienced and what I find triggering is always going to be different from what you find that. And that's not to say we should excuse it, but understand that if we drop the ball when it comes to the content warning, it's something that we would like to remedy. So yeah, I think the only thing we've honestly had at this point when it came to that, all of that, is the episode 11 of Deadbeats, which ended up being a very great episode to begin with, you know, so absolutely. And honestly, we're going to be going back to that soon, so there it is. Would still love to see one-offs or series that get cut short, even if it has disclaimers and complete 1,001. I understand that, Tech. I don't have an answer for you right now, and I know you've mentioned that a couple of times. I don't have an answer for you on that. I won't know until it happens. And also, at the same time, there may be times where I can't. For you know, you never know what happens behind the scenes of these things, and people change and life changes all the time, that if something happens behind the scenes and I can't show a series, you know, I'd want to respect that. If it's just sort of like, oh, the scheduling just got away from us, then you know, maybe we can consider that. But there's a lot of things we also have to figure when it comes to that. The internet, not saying anyone here, the internet could be a very drama-ridden place where people are just looking for the next piece of drama to entertain them. Meanwhile, these are people's lives. These are actual lives that everyone's living, that everyone's going through, that everything's happening. So I try my best to protect all of my players and everyone that's there, because if they're going to be on my channel and play, it's very important that I cater a community that is understanding, that gets away from parasocial values. You know, I know some people look at me as a stickler, or that I kind of just go a little too hard on certain rules, but understand I do that because I not only have to look out for myself, I have to look out for so many other streamers and players who deal with that on a daily basis on their own side of the communities, right? And also I have to look out for the community itself, because that is if I'm going to have a community, I need to make sure that that community is looked after, is taken care of. You guys are my responsibility. If you're in my Discord, if you're watching my shows, if you're doing all of that, you are my responsibility. And I know that sounds dramatic, but I only say that because so many giant ass streamers do not realize that and don't take the mantle of responsibility that they fucking should. So that's all I'm saying about that. I got off on a tangent, but okay, so I think we went over the pros. I think this is pretty much the big ones, okay? As far as the flatlines, okay? So that's all I want to say. Have a good, no, I'm kidding. So we went through the nitty gritty. We went through the details. We went through all of this shit. You know, we've done all of this. Okay, I have now went over, I feel methodically, the pre-recorded shit. You know, as to why we're doing it, addressing the concerns that you may have had about IO going into pre-recorded, telling you that those cons are actually not really cons, and you know, it's just cons that you think it's happening. It's not. And I went into pros of what are the benefits of it. So we went through a very methodical, very data-driven, like why we're doing it, right? So let's talk about something new. Let's talk about new features. Hey, Zoran, thank you for the 10 gifted subs, bud. Give a shout out to Zoran. Zoran's always been doing some good work. They just wrapped up one of their Pathfinder games with Narrative Declaration, I think your group is called. So yeah, make sure you give him hats off, and I'm very excited to see what Zoran's going to be doing in the future. Yeah, we love all our TTRPG content creators here. Absolutely love that. They're not really cons. Yeah, exactly. It's just more of well, when I'm talking about cons here, I'm talking about concerns. I'm talking about concerns. So, all right. Now that we've done all the data-driven bullshit, boring ass backward stuff, let's talk about new features. I'm not gonna just come at you and be like, hey, your entire show is changing. Good luck. Let's talk about some of the new things we're adding now that we're making this transition. Now that we're making this show, we're adding a bunch of new shit. It's not just, oh, we're just pre-recording now. We're adding so much new stuff. Like this, effectively, and I hate to use this as an example, we are entering a phase 3.5. We're continuing the phase 3 storyline. We're continuing all this stuff, and now we are adding a bunch of new quality of life things that are really going to elevate and level up our sessions and our shows. We're getting into it now. We're getting into the big things. So, hey guys, how do you feel about animated intros for each campaign? How do you feel about that? Having an animation that introduces all the players. How does that sound? Does that float your boat? Currently, we are experimenting with our lovely Bird Renar, which I'm sure all of you know, with Bird Renar on making animated intros. If you guys have watched any of Bird Renar's animations, they are mwah, chef's kiss. They are very good. So he's making animated intros. They're going to be for each, and not just campaigns, for each story beat. For each story beat, we will have a new animated intro to really get you in. Speaking of story beats, chat room, I know a lot of you are desperately trying to catch up on phase 2 and phase 3. And you look at the numbers of sessions and you go, how am I going to dedicate my entire life to all of this? What? Like, how am I going to do this? We will now have, before each story beat or season or module, whatever you want to call it, we will record a recap video. The recap will be from the campaign's beginning up to that point. This is going to serve as a quick entry into the series. And yes, before someone brings it up, Naomi will VC these recaps. How many story beats per season? Story beat is a season. Yeah. Story beat is a season. So, what we got? Animated intros before each story beat. Yeah, it's gonna be really good. So the recaps essentially are gonna let you know everything that has happened from start to finish. The goal is an under 10-minute recap. So you're not gonna have to watch a giant hour recap. You're literally going to hop in, and we're gonna tell you from beginning to end. This is what's happened so far. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen here. So the things we definitely want to add, we really want to add some value. We really want to elevate. We're doing everything and all that stuff. Are we still getting everyone goofing around the beginning of the episode? Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, I'm only gonna answer this one time because I'm not gonna continue to go back with the things we've already reversed. But yes, the only thing we are removing from pre-recorded stuff is breaks, where we'd be offline anyways. Like any of the offline chatter, we're not including that because we've never included that. But if we're just doing like some IRL chat in the beginning, or we're just talking back and forth, or if we're going into like what happened, or if a topic comes up, you're still gonna get all that. I still want this to feel like, even though we're kind of like amplifying the quality of these shows, I still wanted to feel like a group of friends playing D&D at the table. That's the environment I've always wanted to foster. It should be a fun time. It should, and these are gonna make some positive changes with that. We're gonna be a lot more. On the back end, we can be a lot more flexible with the schedule. We can go longer. We can do multiple sessions a week if we want to. And the main thing is just not to make it feel like a job, because the moment it starts to feel like a job with the players, it's gonna not be good. It's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be fun for you as the viewer. So yeah, there goes. So recaps can keep me up to date with crossovers. Yep, absolutely. If a crossover happened, that recap will talk to you about that. Absolutely, 100%. So yes, that's what we got. We got animated intros for each campaign. We've got story beat season modules and recaps and all that stuff that's happening. Trying to think if there's anything else that we are adding. We've already talked about sessions are going to be a weekly thing now. We've already talked about multiple streams per session, so that way everyone can watch the live stream experience. Actually, yeah, I think we can go into this now. So there's a reason why we are actually calling story beats and seasons modules now. Oh, also, I don't know if you guys have seen with the playlists for Deadbeats and Into the Shadows Breach, we have made, which surprised me that we never made these playlists before. We have now made seasonal playlists. So season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, we've actually separated all those into separate playlists. And that's because we've actually added names for all of those story beats. So you can actually see that now. So let me actually pull it up. Because I know some people are lazy. I'm lazy. I get that. Let me see here. Playlists. Okay. So now we've got... so here are the official names. Deadbeats Chapter 1 was called Cold Case. So Season 1's called Cold Case. Deadbeats Season 2 is called Deep Facade. Deadbeats Season 3 is called Wilted Hellebore. And of course, our next Deadbeats chapter module is going to be called Keld Fallen. And we're going to get into that because that's actually going to be some really big, giant news with that. For Shadows Breach, we've got Chapter 1 was Shadow's Trial. Chapter 2 was Threats Surround. And Chapter 3 is Astral Breach. So we're actually going to see, like, these seasons have names now. And specifically, the reason why is because I was getting tired of naming things Season 1, Season 2. And especially as we get into recaps, we're still going to name them Chapter 4, Chapter Things, and all that, so that it does feel like it's part of a very extended story. But now that we're introducing recaps to all of these, all of these modules, it's I think it's gonna be a lot easier if you just really want to jump into it. Absolutely. What would happen if campaigns interact? How would that work with if they interact, we would just pre-record it. It'd be a little bit more planned. So yeah. All right. So yes. Who? Nicole? I don't know what that means, bud. What the hell? I don't know what that means. Anyways, let's continue on. So yeah, I guess the next feature I want to announce, well, actually, I kind of have to, give me a second. There it is. I don't know what that means! All right, next thing I want to talk about. Before we get into, there's one big new feature that I do want to talk about, but there's something else I want to discuss first before we get into that. We're gonna call this the mystery feature, okay? And you know what? I'm gonna put a little gift box next to it because I actually think this is the big change. This is the big announcement. This is for all the marbles, baby. There you go. We put a little emote there so you guys know that there is a mystery feature we're gonna talk about here in a minute, okay? Actually, you know what? We're gonna have two mystery features. This one I'm gonna put in italics because this one, some people already know about. This one, nobody knows about, and we're gonna talk about it today. Okay, so let's talk about IO publishing. For those that don't know, last year, I created. Let me unbold that. I created a TTRPG publishing house in 2023. We've got a team of talented artists, cartographers, writers, map designers, developers, 3D modelers, graphic artists. We've actually grown a lot since last year. This is my passion. I want to make sure that's clear. A lot of folks, I feel like that's a little dramatic. But some folks have come to me and going, you know what? IO publishing such a distraction from IO. Like, what the heck? Blah, blah, blah. And I want to be clear that the rates at I run games back from phase 2 or earlier in phase 3 would have always gone down. I'm getting older, and I very much have started focusing for, as far as the shows are concerned, I want them to be at a certain quality. And if they are not of a particular quality, then I'm gonna lower the workload on the show side. And the reason for that is I can give you just a bunch of crap if you want, or I can give you some like really good high-end, always trying to find ways to elevate these sessions, and I'd much rather do that. So the number of campaigns that I'm running has nothing to do with IO publishing. I just want to make sure that's clear. IO publishing was always going to happen. The number of campaigns reduced was always going to happen. I love game design. That's why I play D&D. That's why I DM. That's why I'm a forever DM. I love crafting and making new things. And that is why, we're going to put a quick plug here. We actually released a book earlier this year, which is why Slay Dragons when you could be fishing. I think we're approaching silver on Drive-Thru RPG if we're not already there. The books and PDFs have been selling very well. I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's been great. And we actually successfully crowdfunded, I'm sure as all you guys know, we successfully crowdfunded a second book, which is Fiendish Forge. And that really just shows that we've got a handle. We got a foothold. This is something that we can continuously do and do it with some level of success. So we're going to keep making stuff. We're going to keep crafting stuff. We're going to keep writing books. And there's going to be some huge books about that. Now, as far as we got a big IO publishing In fact, I'll even say book 3 is going to be announced today. I'm going to actually tell you what book 3 is today during this stream. You're not going to have to wait long. I'm going to actually tell you today what book 3 is. But I want to get into a couple of other things first before we do that, okay? Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, okay? Let's talk about advertising. I know, ads suck. Just come calling it out there. Ads suck. I hate ads, you hate ads, it sucks. Unfortunately, it is a necessary evil. If we're gonna go ahead and get people to know what's going on, what we're working on, it's something that unfortunately we have to repeat a lot and things like that. So it's something that we're always gonna work on. However, I do want to let you know that I'm always going to look for ways to make advertising as unintrusive as possible. I understand that when it comes to IO publishing, there are going to be, hold on, someone said, oh yeah, pre-recorded means no interruption to campaigns or book promotion, I'd assume. No, I mean, it's that. Yeah, no, you're still going to get book promotions during those campaigns. It's just, that is how we keep afloat. We're going to talk a little bit about that though. So, I know a lot of people come here mainly for the shows. They have no interest in buying TTRPG books. They have no interest in purchasing things that IO Publishing is working on. And I get that. I understand that. I understand that I do have two audiences, and they do a lot of that crosses over essentially. I do understand that. I do understand there are people that just want to watch the IO shows. I also understand there are people that want to get custom made high quality TTRPG content because they like the way that I run my games, and now I'm actually bringing that into book form. So I understand that. And so I'll always make sure that I'm being respectful of our IO audience's time when it comes to the advertising thing. So let's talk about how we're going to do that. Clear, transparent advertising. I want to let you know exactly how we're going to advertise. And if that updates, I want you guys to understand those updates. And I'm going to let you guys know about those updates. It's very important to me that you do not feel that you are being taken advantage of, or that I'm trying to upsell you a product because I'm in that. Yes, I'm trying to sell the books. Yes, advertising's going to happen. And yes, you know, we're going to make money. We're going to raise money. There is profit to be had. This is capitalism at its fullest. But I do want to let you know that by engaging in capitalism, that doesn't mean you have to become ethically bankrupt. So it's very important to me, especially for anyone that's backed anything from IO Publishing. You'll know I'm incredibly transparent about what we're working on, what we're doing. If I can't meet a deadline, I'll let you know why. I give a lot of wiggle room to things because I definitely want that to make sure it's there. Yeah, so this is how we're doing it, because I honestly think, and we're seeing this now, I feel like the product sells itself. So there's not a lot of advertising we do need to do. And as we continue to release products, the advertisement will actually kind of begin to go down a little bit. There are other things I want to make sure I'm not selling a false promise, but I mean, like, if IO Publishing takes off and we raise a lot of money on our Kickstarters, and YouTube ads, for example, or Twitch ads, which can become very intrusive to the viewer experience, especially if you're watching on a YouTube video, we can start scaling those back or make them completely non-existent. There's a lot of options that we can do. It just depends on what gets made where. You know, right now we need YouTube ads, we need Twitch ads, we need Patreon, we need all of that, you know, to keep this boat afloat. But just know that when it comes to advertising, I'm always going to try to find a way to minimize that for you so that the product can sell itself. So let's talk about how we advertise to you. Okay. During crowdfunding, which is normally going to be on Kickstarter, we will have pre-session advertisements talking about that. We're going to go into things such as, We're going to go into things such as crowdfunding dates. What add-ons / tiers you can get. And then we're going to talk about the book itself. So yeah. Oh, Twitch ads will no longer be on hold for the session. I mean, no, nothing's changed like that, Mackie. Let me go and get through this. You're asking a lot of great questions, but I want to make sure I get through this, and then we'll do a Q&A afterwards. Okay. As for the Twitch sessions, no, we will find a way so that advertisements don't happen on Twitch. We'll still work for that. We'll still figure that out. So during crowdfunding, we'll have pre-session advertisements. Before crowdfunding, same advertisements. We'll let you guys know about that. We will also there may be mid-session / end session ads as well. However, I do want to let you know that advertisements will be listed in the chapter selection of YouTube. So that means you guys can easily skip those ads if you want nothing to do with them. You will have that option to do so. If an ad plays, it is something you've already seen, or just something that you're like, I'm not interested in this shit, you can skip it as so easily by this chapter, by having chapter selections. We'll make sure that we'll even include that. Maybe we'll even include that yellow bar if that makes things easier for you. We're always gonna find a way to make it so that advertising is not gonna become a pain in the ass. Okay, so let's talk about the dreaded on Discord. The at everyone's. Let's talk about that. Smile. We're gonna go and talk about this. So, first off, if you came from the last day of our Fiendish Forge, I had the smart idea of adding a channel called Fiendish Forge. And the idea was that if people weren't interested, they could just mute the channel. That was the idea. We advertised the channel. We talked about it. We said, hey, if you're not interested, feel free to mute this channel. And I even wanted to let people know that, hey, this is going to get pinged a lot during the last days. The hopes were that when people went in to do that, they would mute the channel. They'd see the first ad everyone ping, go, nah, I'm not interested, and they would mute it. What I did not realize is that at everyone apparently just ignores that. It ignores mute shit. If you mute a channel, at everyone goes, lol, no, you didn't. And I didn't realize that. So if you were affected by that day, I can only apologize so much to you guys. But I will continue to do so. That was an unintentional effect that happened there. So I am sorry about that. I will let you know we will not be doing that anymore. So we will not be doing it as much anymore. However, we will still have occasional at everyone pings. Okay? We will do our best to not exceed one everyone ping. So if we have to ping you, ideally we'd like to do it just once. Okay? Once a day. One everyone ping per day. Now that does not mean you're going to be getting daily pings. Hey, yeah, guys, I'm actually going to tell you everything. We've already got the solution figured out. For those that are in chat that are troubleshooting, hey, gang, be patient. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay. So we're gonna do our best. Yeah, this isn't troubleshooting. Like we already have the solutions in place, and that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So yeah, we're gonna not exceed that. We're still gonna have occasional at everyone pings. That's just the way it is. That's just what keeps the lights on. And yes, we'll jump into that. We have introduced a new role, specifically called I think crowdfunding announcements, which we've already announced literally weeks ago over on the Discord. So you guys can actually go ahead and follow that. Just because there's there's crowdfunding announcements, we are still gonna have the @everyone pings to let people know that have, specifically to let people know who have not selected this announcement when things are coming up. But it's gonna be like the major things. So this is what you're gonna see the @everyone ping for. Okay, you're gonna see it for a crowdfunding announcement. Well, you guys know. Or even a new book announcement. You're gonna see those pings pop up. That you're not gonna see them happen often. It's just gonna be a one and done kind of thing. You're going to get an everyone ping day one of crowdfunding. Specifically when we go live. You're gonna see day one of crowdfunding. When it starts, we ping everyone. This is to let everyone know that the crowdfunding has started. It's there. You're going to see a ping when you're going to see I'm trying to figure out the right terminology. When goals are met. When goals are met, we will also ping. So if we raised $100,000, for example, or we just unlocked a new thing, there will be a @everyone ping. Again, I want to make sure it's clear to you guys. We're going to do our best not to do this more than once a day. So, for example, if let's say we do day one of crowdfunding, we're going to ping to let you guys know it's going to start. But then if we are like knocking out goals that same day, we're not going to keep doing the @everyone ping. At that point in time, we're going to be doing the crowdfunding ping. Because again, we do not want to exceed the @everyone's more than once a day. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're changing. That's what we're working on. And I think that pretty much covers all of our advertisement. Okay. When it comes to that. Essentially, we don't want ads to be as intrusive as possible for there. Yeah, perhaps you can do an occasional live session. No, I won't be doing an occasional live session, Faye. That's not happening. And again, please, I know there's going to be people that are going to jump to different conclusions. Even though I've already reviewed how we're doing the pre-recorded, even though we're still live streaming pre-recorded sessions, even though it's not going to change the viewer experience whatsoever. If you are curious about a certain thing that's happened here, please feel free to go back and look back at the VOD. For those that are asking, will this VOD be available on YouTube? Yes, it will be. It will not be locked under members only like our other campaigns usually are. So you guys will be able to go back and review this at your own leisure. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about when it comes to advertising. That's all I wanted to talk about when it comes to IO publishing. Yeah, I wanted to also get this shit out of the way to let you guys know that we are looking into it. We're going to find solutions. And hopefully this kind of presents to you all a clear picture in the sense that, we're not going to leave. If something's broken, we're not going to leave it broken. We're going to make sure that we get it to work. When we are doing things over here with like the pre-recorded sessions and all that stuff, if something's not working, we're going to fix it. Okay. Your feedback is always appreciated and noted. Things are going to look different, feel different. And I know there's going to be, times where we're going to release something when it does that. I'm going to actually miss actual interactive live interactions with the cast and live sessions. So I don't mind bringing this up again because I know this is something that new people are going to constantly get into. you have had no chat interaction. You've had no interaction with streamers. I promise you this. You haven't. And if you have, it has been so minimal that it makes no sense to do an entire live session stream for the off chance that a cast member will interact with you. Cast members will actually, for those that like watching the show, will be in the chat with you, and then you'll be able to get those interactions. But this right here, this chat interaction people like to latch on because they don't like a change, is so not it. Just so you guys, just so you're clear. Okay, and I know I've said that several times now, and I'm gonna, I'm probably gonna say it a couple more times before the end. But no, you think you've experienced that, you haven't. It has not happened at all. So, I know it's easy to jump into the like, oh, but the live stream feels it doesn't. It doesn't. So there it is. Yeah. Exactly. So that's all there is to it. And also at the same time, we will again, just to kind of recap, there will be a final wrap up session after each module, after each chapter, after each story beat, after each season, where we will do that live. When people bring that up, they're referring to those moments on bathroom breaks. I think you are, and sorry if this sounds rude. I think people are trying to stretch to find an issue, and what I'm trying to say is there's not going to be one, and if it is, we're gonna resolve it pretty well. so yeah, it's the issues people are having or think they're gonna have with it. I don't foresee happening. So, and hopefully you'll give that a chance and not just throw it away because, quote unquote, it's different now. I will say, though, when it comes to these changes, especially new features, it's going to feel different. I'm hoping it's going to feel better. I am hoping it's going to feel like a more polished experience. I'm hoping that viewing this series-wise, it's not going to feel as interrupted as it often gets. I would like this to feel like a different experience. I would love for that. I would love it to feel like a different yet better experience. Things are going to feel different. Things, change is inevitable with any creative project that we do. And if change is something that you don't like to experience, I totally get it. Don't watch. It's totally fine. Hopefully you'll come back and we'll do that. But okay. So now that I've hammered that into the ground, let's talk about some big shit. Let's talk about some big shit, okay? So we're gonna minimize this. We've talked about advertising. And we'll always try to, like I mentioned before, we'll always try to be transparent when it comes to like how we're advertising to you, so you guys understand the why we do it, but also so that way we're keeping things changed over there. So there we go. Now let us go into We're gonna actually start with this. So, Brett, please tell me Ganymede Season 2 is possible. Okay. I'm going to add, before we get into the big good news, because this is going to happen multiple times, then I'm going to ask chat to moderate themselves when it comes to this. Okay? So let's get in. Let's add this. And again, I'm not mad at anyone. I just really want to drive this point home. Okay? Canceled games. Here are the canceled games. Okay? Pipe Dreamers. Curious Curios. March on Feywonder. Dawn of Ganymede. We will not be returning. Oh, Dawn of Ganymede. And then for the non-IO games, it's going to be Fandelver and Below. So, these are not coming back. They're not returning. If you would like to know why they were canceled, once again, please, I'll keep this big. That will always be the answer. That will always be the answer. Okay? That will always be the answer. So, For Donna Ganymede, there really wasn't any more story to tell with the current party. So there it is. Yeah. So no hardcore game. Nope. I never said that. I never said that. Yeah, Donna Ganymede, I didn't have any more story to tell with the current party. So that's why that was canceled. I know we had a couple of notes and things like that, but it didn't feel like that was the right thing to do. I had some hope for Faye Wonder. I don't want to get into that. I really don't. I'm just, every time I say like, well, maybe, or like, you know, obviously I want to leave a little wiggle room in case, I do feel like people take that wiggle room and just charge for it. They just fucking go for it. And then they're like, it's coming back. And that has happened so many times that now I don't leave any hope for you guys. I just say it's canceled. It's done. It's never coming back. If it does come back, boy, that would be a lovely surprise. But in the sense that it is so, if a game is canceled, the chances of it coming back are so astronomically low, I would rather just tell you it's never coming back. Okay? All right. Now we continue with everything else. Yeah, also to the person that said no hardcore games post this, never said that. So, don't assume things. Let's put it that way. Because that can also be a little frustrating on my end when people assume things and then spread false information. And it can't be controlled as a streamer. It's just the way it is. I get it. I get it. Okay. Anyways, I'm dropping there. I'm latching on. I'm clinging. I'm obsessing. We're moving on. So, the next thing I want to say, let's talk about book 3. Because this book, let's talk about this. Because this book is going to affect the show. In fact, it is one of the mystery features. So book 3 is going to be the introduction of our IO adventure series. This one is going to be called Keld Fallen. So yes, the latest chapter of Deadbeats is going to be a module that you will be able to purchase. It will be a hardcover book. It'll be a digital PDF. It'll be a hardcover book, digital PDF. It'll be a Foundry module. So, this is going to be a book. And that is because you're about to see campaigns, seasons are now modules. So let's talk about this. Now that we are going to pre-recorded and we have raised, we are successfully making a name for ourselves in the TTRPG publishing space. We are now able to take that reputation and that funding into transforming these seasons of our shows into actually full-blown modules that we can then use for the show. That means we are going to see way more custom art than you guys have been used to seeing. We're going to see more fleshed out content. We're not going to be jamming generic NPC number 7 as someone that they meet. When you're doing a live stream show, you have to build things on a weekly basis. And while I've been very thankful for the team that we have on IO Publishing and the team that we have, for the team that we have in IO Publishing, and any custom asset you've seen comes from them. I mean, just flat out. If you've seen a new piece of art that was published in-house, IO Publishing did that. If you see a map that you like, IO Publishing did that. If you see art that you like, IO Publishing did that. So we're just going all in on that. And we're just spending the full resources that we have to transform these seasons into modules that you guys will be able to pick up. And we're not just looking to just make a whatever module. We want to make the best modules. From a product standpoint, I love module books. I totally understand why people prefer homebrew and making their own shit. But after playing, Lost Mine of Phandelver, now with Curse of Strahd, there's something just really good about a module. It's already made for you. You don't really have to do too much as far as prep goes. You just kind of have to put everything together and read through it and all that stuff. And it's organized in such a way as a DM. I love it. I love it. So we want IO Adventures. We essentially want to level up how modules work, essentially. So we're not going to just see what, for example, we're not going to see what D&D does with their modules and copy and paste it, because there's a lot of areas of improvement that I see personally that we can make when it comes to modules. In fact, I would dare say, for those that may remember, I actually sent you guys out a survey that talked about modules. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me, give me 1 second. I totally forgot I wanted to let our IO publishing audience know that we're live and talking about that. Let me see here. Let me do Twitch. Stream announcements. I want to make sure this is out, because this is definitely for our IO publishing audience as well. So, yeah, so first of all, let's go ahead and talk about what IO Adventures is. So yes, it's a module. I don't want to just copy and paste what D&D does and do that. My only concern is for you, Brett, this is a lot of work. I will tell you right now, this change has made things so much better for me. I can breathe again. Running weekly sessions live, it can get very draining, it can get very exhausting, and it's already a lot of work. By moving to pre-recorded, by crafting modules, by working with a team of people instead of being on my own for most of the time, has relieved me of so much stress that this change I'm making is not adding work. It's actually taking away work. It really is. It doesn't feel like I'm working. Working on IO publishing, I never feel like I'm working. When I'm learning something new, it gets a little stressful, but now that we've got the foundation in place, we just make shit now. It's really cool. Fiendish Forge, I don't have a date, but we are so far ahead of Fiendish Forge after crowdfunding because of everything that we have in place. They're going to see that book come out a lot sooner than Why Slay Dragons When You Can Be Fishing did. So there you go. So, yes, seasons are modules now. So let me talk about this very quick. Well, not very quick. There's a lot to talk about. So, season are modules. We're now talking about IO Adventures, Keld Fallen. IO Adventures, the IO Adventures series is our module series that allows you to run games on your own. You'll be able to, like I said, get a hardcover book, a PDF module. We will have Foundry modules that you will also be able to run these campaigns for. We are already looking at ways that Wizards of the Coast runs their modules and are finding ways to improve upon it. There was a survey that I sent out. That's where I was getting to. There was a survey that I sent out to our IO audience as well as our IO publishing audience There were a lot of answers. A lot of people filled out that survey. It was incredibly valuable. It was incredibly detailed information. I won't show you the results, but I do want to let you know some of the concerns. Not concerns, but some of the things that people have a hard time with modules and what we're doing to fix that. To make it a really cool fucking thing for you guys. Let me see. I'm pulling up the data. Yeah, we got so much. You guys, I know it seemed easy for you all, but the fact that you guys took the time to fill out this survey, homie, I'm telling you right now, it means the world. Thank you so much for that. All right, where are the responses? Let me view this in Sheets. So there was a lot we learned from it. But there was also, here it is, my data count. So one of the things I asked about folks was, what do you guys look for in a module? What makes a module work for you as a DM or as a player? Like, what makes a good module? Or what do you look for in a module? One of the biggest things was engaging encounters. That was by far one of the more popular answers was, I want encounters that don't suck. I want engaging encounters. So IO Adventures is definitely going to be taking a lot of mechanics and a lot of things we're introducing in Fiendish Forge, which is already a book about boss battles and leveling up your encounters and things like that. We're going to be taking that and putting them in the IO Adventure series, which means going back to the next Deadbeats chapter, we're going back to phase combat that you guys may have enjoyed from phase 2. Boss battles are going to start feeling like boss battles again. We're going to have phase turns. We're going to have crafting and carving. We're going to have all of that stuff. We'll be back in the shows. So if that's something that you missed in phase 2, you're actually going to start seeing them again, starting with our next show releases. So engaging encounters, IO Adventures is going to have that. Someone mentioned detailed, or not someone, that second, funny enough, the number 2 answer was tied between 3 topics. Detailed NPCs. Some people feel like modules really don't go into NPCs that much. That it's just it just feels like these modules aren't, really going into detailed NPCs. We are going to craft NPCs with a lot of thought and care. We're going to give them like the ideal bond and flaw thing that we saw in some adventure books. We're actually going to have. Essentially, what I want to do is give an NPC an entire page to breathe. So not only are you going to get the art of the NPC, you're going to get a huge description, what they're doing, where they came from, a little bit of their past, what their ideals and all that stuff is. And then you're going to get a stat block. That's another big thing. We're not, for the adventure series, we are not going to do what a lot of D&D modules do, which is so-and-so's a scout, so-and-so's a guard, so-and-so's a noble, blah, blah, blah. And it's just the same, essentially it's the same stat blocks you've always seen, but they're just copy and pasted in NPCs. Every NPC is going to have their own unique stat block. And if you don't like unique stat blocks, you are still free to replace those stat blocks with some of the more common stat blocks. So they are these are going to be way more detailed. And also the reason why I want the stat blocks to be detailed, a lot of the times parties kind of fall in love with NPCs they find in their adventures and kind of bring them along in future adventures. So we want to make sure that we have all those details there, so that if a party, quote unquote, adopts an NPC, you'll have all the details to do it and take it with you on different adventures. So yeah, we're gonna have some real detailed NPCs. Next thing was GM direction. I want to make sure that these books have lots of GM notes for you guys. Suggestions as ways to run certain encounters. Kind of lets you know like what level people should be in certain areas, kind of give you different options. In fact, kind of going back to engaging encounters, we're going to have custom creatures. And one of the cool things about that is, much like NPCs, we're also giving creatures a whole page to breathe with. So we're actually going to get, first of all, every creature's going to have full art. They're going to have a description about them. They're going to have a stat block. But a lot of creatures, especially like standard creatures, are going to have multiple stat blocks. They're actually going to have plus versions, which means if you encounter a specialized reservist and it's a CR2, there will also be a CR3 version of that stat block. So that way, you guys can like, you know what? I think this person should be stronger. Or you want to add a little bit of variety to the encounter, or one's hitting a little harder than the other. You'll actually get creatures with multiple stat blocks. Sometimes you'll get a creature that has a standard stat block, but also has an elite version of that stat block. If you want to throw like a little mini boss their way to something that's a little bit more familiar. So you're going to have a lot of options when it comes to our adventures. You're not just getting one stat block. You're going to get many stat blocks per creature. And you're getting the elite CR creatures, boss CR creatures. You're getting actual full-blown boss fights. Another big thing that we really want for IO adventures is I want them to be self-contained books. What do I mean by that? Right now, and I understand why they do it. WotC, when they do their modules, they reference things from the player's handbook. They'll reference items from the DM's guide. They'll reference monsters from the monster manual. And if you have it, if you don't have it, you got to find a way to look for it, essentially. You need these prerequisite books to effectively play this module. And while it is true, you are still going to need your standard player's handbook and DM's guide as far as to how to play the game. We will make sure that any mechanics or anything we introduce is explained in the book itself. You won't have to ever worry about me essentially going, this creature is a phase combatant. To learn more about phase combat, get Fiendish Forge. Like, you're not going to have to worry about that. We will explain phase combat in the book. Or if there is an adventure module, an IO adventure module that has a fishing component to it, I'm not going to be like, you can get the fishing rules by purchasing Why Slay Dragons when you... No, you will get a minimal rule set so that you can still run the game without needing the supplements. Does that make sense? So that if you want something to be like a little bit more detailed, right? You're still going to benefit from getting these books, but it's not going to be a payment of entry to play these books. If you are getting an IO Adventure book, that's all you need. In fact, what's going to be really cool about our adventure books is the multitude of magic items, custom magic items, the multitude of custom creatures that you guys are going to get. I mean, this thing's going to be big. I don't know how many pages. I'd like to keep it between 200 to 300 pages, but it definitely will continue to do that. So it's going to be very good when it comes to that. Absolutely. So, and then finally, another big thing was open-ended adventures. So I definitely want to make sure that there are optional stuff that are in IO Adventures, so that way if you have someone, you know, they want to do a different downtime activity or they want to check out some different shit and all that stuff, then yeah. Vex 2, yeah, I mean, we'll include things like vehicles and all that stuff. So yeah, absolutely. They're actually going to be vehicles in Keld Fallen, so yeah, I forgot what I just said. So yeah, there'll be a bunch of like optional content. Here's what, is it based on 5e? Yes, it is based on, all our systems are based on 5e. It's based off a modified version of 5e. One day we will release an IO D20 system. I very much want to do that. We're on our way. We're on our way to an IO D20 system book, and we're on our way to an IO campaign setting. We are on our way, chat. These IO Adventure series is actually going to be the start of that. And then we will eventually release a giant campaign setting in IO. And we'll release an IO TTRPG system with new classes, new ways to play, new mechanics, all that shit. It's still gonna be very loosely based off of 5e. it very much is going to be a Tales of the Valiant, you know, where it's still 5e but with a twist. Like, I have no plans to really yeah, that's IO 5e. I have no plans to stray away from 5e. It's a system that I've really gotten a good mastery of. And so it's something I always want to stick with because it allows me to do the things that I want to do. But yes. So, speaking of open-ended adventures, Keld Fallen is going to be a very much an open-ended adventure. This right here are my favorite types of games to work on. It is a torn down city that the party will need to navigate to get to stop the antagonist, to get to the end, to fight off against the big bad guy, right? I'm using loose terms here because I really don't want to spoil anyone, but how do you get there? There are going to be quarters that you guys are going to be able to explore. And those quarters, a majority of those quarters links to 2 other quarters. So you may decide, you know, after getting through the breached orchard, I don't know how to say that, apple orchard, right? After you get to the breached apple orchard, you can continue to push on to Safe Haven Square, or you can go through the port side, each of which has different adventures. By the way, these quarters all have mini dungeons, all that shit. It's super fucking detailed, and I'm very excited about it. Yeah, this is Keld Fallen's gonna be a very open-ended adventure. I think we're advertising it as levels 7 to 12. Yeah. So it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a real good time. In fact, chat, we've already started working on it. You guys want to see some tiny spoilers? Nothing. It's things to look forward to. But we have already started working on shit. First of all, let me show you this. Let me show you this. Gang, we've already got the cover. We've already got the cover art done. So yeah, this is gonna be Dyer worked on this. This is gonna be the cover art for Keld Fallen. And I know you can't really see it off in the background, but that is the Deadbeats party. Everyone has given me their permission to use their characters in the book. So you'll actually, what's also gonna be cool about Keld Fallen is all of the scene art that is done is going to feature the Deadbeats characters. So that's something that our audience members will get to actually relate to. Is it on IO then? Yeah. Oh yeah. Keld Fallen is the city of Keld was where the Deadbeats was heading to. That was the last episode we did. So when they come back, they're starting with the module Keld Fallen. So yeah. Oh, also another cool thing, another new thing that I totally forgot about that I can now add over here. That's not even the other mystery feature, chat. New thumbnails. The goal is to have unique thumbnails every session. And there'll probably be a scene that happens during that session. And we can do that because we can then use... Essentially, we can use the art we create for Keld Fallen and turn them into thumbnails. Or we can make more custom thumbnails. So you're not going to get the same logo, character face, episode name. You're actually going to get like a unique thumbnail, much like what we were doing with the Pipe Dreamers Abridged series we tried to do a while back. So that's also another new feature we're introducing. At the same time, another thing I wanted to show you guys. Let me show you this real quick. We've actually started working on the creature art. So for those, Keld Fallen is essentially about, and this is Deadbeat spoilers, by the way. It's about Evangeline Hellebor's betrayal of Io, essentially. Her duplicity has been revealed. And unfortunately, it is the people of Keld who have faced off against her wrath. So the players will learn about this as they enter Keld. But essentially, Evangeline has lashed out against the people of Keld for one reason or another. She is an incredibly powerful enchantress with ties to Cosma specifically. And using that power, she has swallowed up the city in vines, trees, nature, and has swallowed it and made it her own. A majority of the population have also transformed into these plant humanoid hybrids. This event is going to be known as the Flame, and those that have been transformed are known as the Flayed. And so you're gonna go ahead and see essentially big, spooky, scary hybrid individuals, such as this guy, where like the apples are all merged onto people's bodies, and they are effectively turned into these monstrous, aggressive creatures that attacks everyone. So this is also another one that was pretty good. These essentially plant hybrid individuals that have taken over people's bodies, transforming them into monstrous creatures. And there's also going to be a lot of bosses too, that you guys are going to be able to do that. So yeah, a different take on Last of Us. I would look at it as combine a Last of Us with Bloodborne. That's kind of the take we're doing with Keld Fallen. That's going to be the vibe with Keld Fallen. So that's kind of the I would say the combination of that. So the way we're going to write the module, it's going to lead to a lot of player choices. The players are going to feel pretty free with what they're able to do. If what's also really cool while we're developing this module is, we're going to be running these sessions, we're going to be recording these sessions. If the players do something or try something or something outside the box, you bet your ass we're going to include that in the module as an option that you can do or an option that you can take. This, I'm telling you right now, this synergy that we're about to see is so good. It's so good because everything we do for the book enhances the show, and everything that happens in the show gets added into the book. The synergy is so fucking amazing, Good luck with improv, but I've been running IO for 4 years now. I have got improv, role-playing, and game running under my bed. Did you think there was ever a time where I had everything planned? Like really? You think I was able to predict every player all the time, always? Has never. I mean, there have been plenty of times I've had to pivot. Plenty of times I've had to immediately change something, and that's fine. That is the beauty of D&D and TTRPGs, is that it isn't on a railroad. It isn't on a set path, that you are able to move over that. So yeah, absolutely. It's the freedom is there to do that. And also at the same time, it's possible that we never saw You've seen her before. You've seen Keld before. Episode 11 of Deadbeats. I mean, that Episode 11 of Deadbeats honestly is probably going to be the best precursor to Keld Fallen. Like genuinely. Because it kind of lets you know what Keld was, and then we're gonna see how Keld has not only transformed over the decade, but also we're gonna watch how Evangeline sort of did that. So yeah, absolutely. How will you keep other paths that Deadbeats don't follow as developed? Well, Brad, when I run the sessions, we will already have that part of the module fully fleshed out and developed. So I'm not worried whatsoever. And also at the same time, we're not just going to develop the stuff that the Deadbeats follow, because again, Keld Fallen is this open-ended sandbox town that you get to explore through the entire story beat, through the entire module. There are going to be, I know for a fact, there are going to be quarters that the Deadbeats will never touch. We're still going to develop them, though. We're not going to develop. We're not only going to develop the stuff the Deadbeats explores. We're developing everything. And if there is content that the Deadbeats don't explore, good news for the module people, the people that purchase the module, you'll get to see those unexplored paths and begin to theorize and formulate, maybe even write fan fiction about what could have been. Like, it's incredible. And we have a team to do that. This isn't something I'm doing by myself. I've got talented writers. I saw Levo Doom in here. Levo's doing a bunch of the maps, a bunch of the region maps for every single quarter. We brought on Crown DM, who is a terrific map artist. He's already made a shit ton of maps that we're going to use for the module. Any map you see in the show is going to be included in the module, which is also really fucking cool. So, yeah, I mean, anything you see in the show is going to be in the module. So for people that are like, man, I'm looking for maps, man, it's always hard to do. Like, we're going to have so many fucking maps. Yeah, it's going to be great. Region maps, battle maps, dungeon maps. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's, yeah. All right. So yeah, that's also one of our big announcements, is that our third book, which we'll probably start crowdfunding for soon. By soon, I mean like early 2025. We're not doing any more crowdfunding this year. Keld Fallen is on its way, and we've already gotten a lot of work done for it. We're already plotting out some new die sets that are going to be Keld Fallen themed. I haven't decided what I want. I would love to do a Mega D20 with a Hellebore flower inside. I would love to do a pin set. If the players are down, I would love to do a pin set of all the players. If not, I know Summer is down for pin work, and we might just do like a Hellebore Minions pin set as well for that crowdfunding. It just depends on what everyone wants to do, effectively. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. I mean, that's just maps, digital tokens. So much cool shit. So yeah, and that is the best part of this plan, is that you guys are getting a high quality adventure module. With that, we effectively are taking that money and since we've developed the module, run the module as a show, which means we're effectively funding, unintentionally, we are funding the shows, which means now these shows have such a large budget. We're really gonna do some really cool things for the IO series now. That's why I'm very excited for this future that we're working on, because we've got such a passionate and talented team, and together I know for a fact we're gonna make a really cool thing. We're gonna do a really cool thing. Yeah, the money we raise, I might have said that wrong because someone's making a joke about it. while the money we raise and what we advertise for the Kickstarter is specifically going to be for this book, effectively what that means is, because we're going to be running the module as a series from now on, you're inadvertently funding the shows. And that's a really cool thing. What's also great about this is the book advertises the IO campaigns, and the IO campaigns advertises the book. It's actually got a really good synergy advertising to it. It's really awesome. And it's something that I look at and go, God damn, that is super fucking cool. You know? That effectively we're, by its nature of existing, it advertises itself, which is so fucking cool. Which means we might not have to push ads all the time anymore, you know? When the series itself is an advertisement for the book itself, like, that's pretty cool. And the book is, it's not like it's you know, we've created a campaign for this book. It's where we've effectively are raising money for a really highly detailed show now. So it's very good. It's very good. I'm very excited about it. All right. So that covers about everything. The last mystery feature, which I'll go over once the ad break is done on Twitch. We will go into our last mystery feature, and this is something nobody knows about. Just saying. Just saying. This is something that I want to do in the future. I don't have any set dates. People are asking, is there a set date on when these pre-recorded shows will be going live? I don't have that answer for you today. If I were a betting man, I would say you're probably not going to see Deadbeats as a show until early 2025. We are going to begin pre-recording very soon, because we've gotten enough content developed. Hey, Lightning AC, thanks for the 5 gifted subs. And also thank you for the new sub as well. I appreciate that. We've already got a lot of content developed for Keld Fallen. So we've got a couple of pieces we still need to put together, but I do think that we will be able to start pre-recording here soon. So you're not going to have to wait long, but you are going to have to wait. That is one of the cons that I did want to bring up to you guys, is things are going to take a little bit more time. And I'm definitely not going to be running multiple games at the same time anymore. And that's because we are definitely going to be taking a quality over quantity approach. Absolutely. I need to catch up on Deadbeats. Well, the good news is we're also going to have recap videos before every module, from start of the campaign up to that point. So catching up is going to be very easy, because I'm hoping to have 10-minute recaps for you guys. Or keep recaps under 10 minutes ideally. So that way, if you do want to jump into a show, you can. And we'll make sure that's easy to find. We'll make sure that's part of the playlist and all that stuff. We're going to make it super easy for everybody. It's going to be super easy for everyone. So yeah. Also, just because it's come up a couple of times, Paw Patrol is going to be live streamed. Curse of Strahd Hardcore is going to be live streamed. So we're still going to be live streaming games. So don't even worry about it. I do want to say though, I would like to get to a point where everything's pre-recorded and I'm not releasing as many shows, just because I am kind of getting to that point where I should start looking into future plans and all that shit. But that's not going to be happening anytime soon. So I don't want you to worry about that. But I do want to be transparently clear. I'm not doing this forever. And that's not saying I don't like to do it. It's just I'm getting older. And I know I'm not dead yet, but I can definitely feel my energy draining a little bit. I definitely can see myself being more interested in the publishing and creating side and less interested in the show running side. Yeah, but I do think with the new funding that we're getting, we can really, even though live streaming is not going to be my focus always in the future, we're still going to be releasing something very awesome, better than we ever have. And I think a lot of that has to do with the production side of things with IO Publishing, working on the shows. It's just, we've got a team working on it, so it's going to alleviate a lot of stress. But at the same time, I can't do 3, 4, 5 campaigns a week anymore. I can't. There's no fucking way, dude. There's no fucking way. All right. So, ads are done over on Twitch. So let's talk about the last mystery feature. This is something I haven't told anyone. So, have you guys ever heard of a little thing called Hard? I can't remember if it's been addressed. I'm sorry if it's been asked, but it's Fan Devil Hard coming out. Please see canceled games. It's not coming back. Thank you. Pretty much the only active games that we've got on right now is Paw Patrol, Curse of Strahd Hardcore, Deadbeats, Into the Shadows Breach. If that changes, I will let you know. But for the time being, I will just say it's canceled, and mourn the way you gotta mourn. And if you ask why, please look to our original answer. It will always be that answer. Life changes and scheduling issues. All right. One size fits all. I will not. That's going to be more of an intermittent game. If you're talking about Fiendish Forge Hunters, that'll be more intermittent. We may do it on occasion, but we won't be doing it as often as Paw Patrol. And the reason why is the Paw Patrol team is the Shadows Breach team, and they're going to have to wait a lot longer for their campaign to come back. Like, Deadbeats is going to come back. We're going to go through Deadbeats, and then we're going to go through Shadows Breach. We're not going to be running them both at the same time. So the Shadows Breach crew does have a bit more of a longer wait before they get back to their story. So I'm running Paw Patrol for them as something to hold them over while we do that. The Fiendish Forge games were always meant to be like a small mini series, but since we brought it to Atropa and brought it to IO, especially with Paw Patrol, and especially now they're starting to find things that are lore-centric to the history of Phase 2 games like Hunters of IO or Spire of Euclid. This is a continuation of that lore and history. So Paw Patrol, yeah, while it was pitched and advertised as a LOL Monster Hunter clone, we are still gonna sprinkle in some story and lore into Paw Patrol. So absolutely. So yeah, even though we originally pitched it as a advertisement vehicle for Fiendish Forge, it's definitely going to it's definitely gonna change here with Paw Patrol. And I know I was gonna give you the mystery, the new mystery thing, right? Guardsire? Why did I say Guardsire? I don't even know what the fuck that means. Another thing, God, my brain just died. What was another thing I wanted to announce? That was gonna be a pro. Fuck. I literally forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah. I remember now. This is kind of a minor new feature. We're getting new logos. I'm been very fortunate that Tombag, who's done logos for us in the past, who did a great job. Absolutely love them. Tombag definitely is more on the artist side. So to actually take something with like graphic design and stuff like that and transform it from an art piece, like that has always been cool. However, I've recently started working with not throwing any shade to anyone, but someone who is professionally trained, and also their profession is logo design. So they are currently working on a new logo for me for Keld Fallen. If it looks good, and there's going to be different versions. There's going to actually be like an icon version of the logo, which is really cool. Like kind of like, you know, how like the WoW logo has the W circle thing, like a game icon. We're actually going to have one of those as well. And also it's going to be animated, which I think is going to be really cool. And then we're going to be able to use that logo not only for the book, but also for the series itself. The animated logo we'll use for the series. So it's gonna be a really we're gonna see the logo quality level up. And again, that's not to slight our current logos. It's great, but we're definitely gonna see if everything moves up and all that stuff. So. Oh, that had come up even for streaming updates. What's the question? I'm not playing more video. No, yeah, and I brought that up earlier. I'm not playing video games. Even for streaming for updates from D&D, like the 20. Yeah, I'm not doing that either. I enjoy talking about the player's handbook, but honestly, I just kind of want to keep running shows on this channel. So we won't be doing like updates like what's D&D working on. I'll still be tweeting it out, and you'll definitely hear my opinions like when I'm hanging out in like Crown DM streams. But I'm not gonna make streams around that. And there's so much work to do in the back end now that I would rather not take away from that, if that makes sense. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna get some new logos. That's gonna be really. I'm very excited about this. As a graphic design guy myself, I'm super excited about the new logos. So, but we'll see what happens. This is kind of a trial run we've got with this new logo artist. So if it works out well, you're gonna see a lot of new changes. And the reason why I brought that up is once we have a set logo person, we'll probably be renaming Fiendish Forge Paw Patrol to just Paw Patrol. And it'll just be the Paw Patrol stream, so that people don't think we're just using it as an advertisement vehicle for Fiendish Forge. Remember using the 2024 rule set? Yes, we're already using the 2024 rule sets, because that is the rule set everyone's moving to. So yeah, we will be using 2024 rule sets. Well, technically, I mean, I don't want to take credit for it, but technically we're using the IOTTRPG or IOD20 rule set. Which is we're taking some things from D&D 2024. We're still keeping things from D&D 2014, and we're introducing new mechanics like throwing potions and other crafting, carving, phase battles. All of that is essentially IO TTRPG. So yes, so expect less active on Brett's Twitch content. Yes, I'm not going to be as active as I used to be. When it comes to Twitch and YouTube and live streams. It's a lot. It's become a lot to stream now. And that's for my own personal failings and mental shit that I have to deal with, sadly. I tend to thrive more when I'm not streaming. When I stream games, it doesn't impact me as much as streaming other things, for example. Because when streaming games, I'm there to run a game. I'm not there to stream a game, if that makes sense. You know, if that makes sense to each and every one of you. So yeah, a lot of that is just my own mental shit, and streaming, honestly, content creation and streaming has not done well for my mental health. As it doesn't do well for a lot of people I know, if not everyone that I know. But it's getting to the point where I can't keep pushing it back because I am starting to see and feel the cracks. So that's also another big reason why we're moving to pre-recorded, is because I can't. It's very challenging to live stream stuff. Now, Paw Patrol is easy to live stream. There's not too much prep on that side. Curse of Strahd Hardcore is insanely easy to live stream because the game has already been made. But when it comes to the IO campaigns, it needs more time. It just they have. The IO campaigns, in my mind, even though it's something that you guys have enjoyed, and I'm really incredibly thankful for that, I see its flaws. It's got a lot of them. And it's something that I can't really polish in a live stream setting, which is why I'm moving to pre-recorded. So that way we can spend time to polish. We can work on a thing. I can pre-record with a team for a few weeks and then tell them we'll be back a few weeks later once more once more content gets developed. You know, we can take breaks without the show screeching to a halt when it comes to the viewer experience. You know, I just have a lot more freedom to breathe in a pre-recorded environment. And then you'll see it firsthand when we release our first full series. And also, just to make sure we're clear about that, once the series is complete, we're not pushing the entire series out at once. It's still going to be released on a weekly session, much like a lot of TTRPG shows that are currently out there. So yeah, the viewing experience is still going to be the same. It's going to feel different because you'll know it's pre-recorded in the background, right? But it's still, I think, from a show standpoint, we're really going to see. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see the step up. You're gonna see the quality improvement. You just I obviously can't predict the future, but if everything goes the way I think it's gonna go, you guys are literally gonna see that. So another thing I'm gonna miss with live IO verse campaigns, it's unpredictable. How is it unpredictable? Having live episodes gonna make viewers intrigued on any unexpected events happening. That's still happening with the pre-recorded. It's live TV. It doesn't fucking matter. That's chat. I'm telling you right now, and I know I'm hammering this head in. Unless you're looking for a mishap or someone to slip a cancelable effect, nothing is changing. If you're talking about, man, it's so weird that this thing happened in the show, it's not because it was a live streamed event, okay? Like, I'm so sorry for continuously bringing this up and hanging up this point. The things that you, yeah, it's that, yeah, someone, yeah, Sergeant Rico said it best. Pre-recorded does not mean scripted. Let's just be clear about that, okay? Look, here's the best way. Now, imagine, imagine that we stream the campaign, right? Imagine that we stream the campaign, except we don't stream it, but we run the campaign anyways. That's the only difference. The only difference, okay? If you look forward to tech snafus and dead air, then I guess I am not going to be the content creator for you. Even if it was scripted, it's not scripted. Yeah, that's it. That's it. If it's live released but pre-recorded from the viewer standpoint, it would still be the same effect, more or less. You're right. Yeah, that's it. I'm surprised people are stuck on this. No, I'm sorry that I keep on this point, and I know I'm gonna get flamed in the comment section for it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, anytime someone comes in and goes, it's going to be different, I come back with, all right, give me a reason. Why do you feel it's going to be different? That's why we actually started with this con list, is so that people know that, okay? So we're like watching a VOD, but cleaned up. And when I say cleaned up and edited, I mean just removing the absolute unnecessary shit that no one would be interested in. I'm talking dead air. I'm talking tech issues. We're just removing it. I'm talking breaks. Yeah, we're just gonna remove it. It's just gonna continuously go there. People are assuming that I'm gonna be editing out non-essential talk and conversation. That's still gonna be there. I know that's something that you guys like, you know. It's still gonna feel like a live streamed experience. It's just gonna be way more polished now. So you guys will see, and I'm sorry for continuously leaning in on that part. But it's something that I don't know how much clearer I can be on it. You have nothing to worry about. I'm going to edit out all the Hot Springs episodes. That's right. That's right. If things get a little too spicy, it's gone. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else live stream? Anyone? Anyone? I pointed at everybody. Anyone else? Yes? No? Maybe so? Okay. Mystery feature. Let's do it. Let's fucking go. All right. So, you guys like hardcore, right? You guys like hardcore, right? What would we define hardcore as? A hardcore is a remixed way to play 5e games. It's got unique character creation, unique level up, and some unique ongoing mechanics like injuries, etc. Essentially, it's a different style of game, which is what hardcore is. Yeah, and then higher stakes, absolutely. I was actually explaining that higher stakes, and it's a difficulty. It's a different difficulty, right? Essentially, it's a style of game. It's a style. It is a style of gameplay. That is the. I would dare define it as a gameplay style, a 5e gameplay style. Okay. Is that fair to say? It is a different way to play your 5e games. We usually use the already pre-made modules, so there's something familiar to it. And yeah, it's also the modules that we use D&D modules. So it is a familiar campaign run in a different way. Okay? So it is a 5e gameplay style, is the hardcore. Is that fair to say, chat room? I feel like that feels like a succinct explanation, essentially. It's very important that you guys know this, especially when it comes to 5e gameplay style. And that is because I am going to be running a new 5e gameplay style. I don't have a date. I don't have. I have interested parties, but I would like to introduce to you a new remixed way to play 5e games, and that is something I like to call Wildcard. We got Hardcore 5e, and now we're gonna have Wildcard 5e. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what the heck Wildcard 5e is going to be. It is going to have unique character creation. How is it going to be unique? Classes are put into a deck of cards. Players will roll initiative. From highest to lowest initiative, a player will draw a class card. The player can choose to keep or return the card. This continues until every player has 2 class cards. Okay? You with me so far? So, here, let me actually put this into rules. Okay? All right, so what happens with the 2 class cards? 2 classes. You get the highest HP from both classes. So if your 2 classes are a fighter and a wizard, you have the hit dice of a fighter. You get to choose between skills of both classes with the highest selection of skills. So what that means is, if a fighter, I'm just going to say some numbers, these are probably incorrect. If a fighter can only choose between a small list, it can only choose 2 skills from a small list, and rogues can choose 4 skills from a small list, those lists get combined together, and you'll get to choose 4 skills from that combined list. You will have all of the proficiencies of the weapon, armor, shield proficiencies of both classes. Okay. I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the 2 classes options. Because of the class deck, a party can only have one class. Can only have unique classes. What this means is if someone draws a rogue card and it is out of the deck, no one else can select a rogue card because the rogue card's already out of the deck that has been drawn. So you will have unique classes. This also means character creation is now a party planned event. When someone draws a card and goes, man, it'd be really cool if I had so-and-so, well, they can cycle through until then. Meanwhile, there might be another player who also wants that class. Well, whoever draws it first gets to keep it. And that continues on there and there. So the unique character creation, very cool stuff. More things along with this. So this is essentially Hardcore's goal was to tell a story with unfair odds against the party. Hardcore games are all about suffering and overcoming loss. Wildcard campaigns are all about heroics. You're building a fucking hero. You are a god amongst men. This is what Wildcard is about. If Hardcore is about suffering through grand difficulty, Wildcard is all about creating unique and powerful heroes to overcome their challenges. Okay. Someone has mentioned time for monsters to enter hardcore mode. Yes, okay, I misread that. Monsters also have wildcard abilities called souls, which means if a monster has the soul of another monster, they will adapt and they will acquire traits of that creature in combination with their own. So, for example, a goblin with the soul of a wolf will get pack tactics in addition to everything they get. Perhaps players may be able to acquire souls to add to their traits. We'll have to see. So if you have the soul of a wolf, maybe you get pack tactics. If we were to do souls like this, if we are about to do souls like this, they would more than likely be temporary items. They would be consumables. Or like for combat, you have pack tactics, like that kind of thing. So we'll talk more about that. That's still kind of being fleshed out. So that'll also be good. Level ups have wildcard, grant wildcard abilities. In addition to the class features your classes give, keep in mind you get both features. You also get to draw a random wildcard ability. Wildcard abilities are mini feats. So maybe it's +2 to whatever, or you don't suffer disadvantage when firing in range, like all sorts of things. Essentially take a feat, and those 3 parts that make all that shit, those are all going to be broken down into their singular parts, and you get to draw those. you can only have so many wild card abilities depending on your level. Now, I haven't decided this number yet, but essentially you'll either have anywhere from 4 to 10 wild card abilities during your adventures. So at level 1, you draw a wild card ability. Level 2, you draw a wild card ability, but you can only have 1 wild card ability, which means you get to choose whether you want to keep that newly drawn wild card ability, or you can, but if you keep it, you have to discard the one that you were holding on to. So essentially your character is always fleshing out. Your character is always evolving. And also it gives that Gamba element that I know you freaks love, because I'm right there with you and my players are right there with you. So it's definitely that Gamba element without the punishment. Let's go ahead and be clear about that. You're just getting new shit. You're constantly growing and getting new shit. Constantly. What if a player wants to give another player a class card, switch with it? You can't do that. You can't do that. It's kind of meant to be a little randomized, you know? Now, a player can absolutely, you know, discard a card and do that, you know, but it kind of is to the point, you know, if they're like, I'm not going to keep this card, you know, that could happen. And obviously, if it gets to a point where, you know, we've got 2 people and both of them are like, I want him to have the rogue and I want them to have the blah, blah, blah. Then, of course, we'll just fast forward to that part. Like, that shit's easy, right? But we have to kind of get to that part where, like, if we're down to, like, 2 players and someone's looking for a rogue and someone else is looking for a wizard and those cards are still in the deck, then absolutely we can do that. Can we swap wild cards to the party members? Nope. This is your own deck. This is going to be your own deck. So, and that's how that would work. How would subclasses work? You choose a subclass as normal, and then you get you get both of those features. If you at level 3, you choose one subclass from that first class, another subclass of that other class, and you get both features. If a class card isn't picked, is it added back to the deck? Yep. So if I draw a druid and I don't want to play a druid, I can return the druid back to the deck, which means someone else can draw it. But if I, let's say, draw a paladin and I want to keep a paladin, then no one else can be a paladin because I have that card. So we'll see exactly how this shapes up, but I can see some interesting dynamics of like, hey, I got this, I want that, I will give you this. You know, maybe we'll do it where like you can go ahead and put the card back in, you like discard it, or maybe we can do a trade. You know, maybe we'll do like a draft of some kind where at the end people can freely exchange their cards. Maybe someone has a class they want and then they want to exchange it with that. You know, we're still kind of fleshing this out. How are the stats done in the wild card? It's going to be standard array. Standard array. So, also unique wildcard abilities for class combinations. Maybe, for example, clerics who use int for their spell casting, you know, etc. Or maybe, rogue wizards who use I'm just trying to think of some things, or like rogue rangers who use wisdom as their attack modifier. Like, it's, you know, there will be these unique abilities that really flesh out your combination, and those cards will be unique to players who benefit from that. So having a wild card that says rogues can use wisdom for their attack modifiers for finesse weapons, and you're not a rogue, like, that doesn't help you at all. So you will not get any no redundant wild card draws. Every player has a unique deck to draw from. Yeah. So absolutely. Did you make a party with a theme of one base class but a different, and yeah, that kind of goes against the wildcard thing, but I mean, that could be an option. That could be like a Oops All Fighters kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. I could see someone doing that if they want to do that. That could be a good optional rule. We're probably not going to do that with the first iteration of Wildcard, but yeah, we could absolutely do that. Oh, and also another thing. You start with 4 attunement slots. You gain more attunement slots through your career. So, more attunement slots as well. And you'll even get some more. This is all about just pushing everything to the limit. So do artificers get 7? Yeah. So for the wild card, we will not be including artificers. Artificers, I love artificers. I know people love artificers, but they are kind of their own level of crazy that I don't think will benefit in a wild card setting. We might do artificers in the future, but for this first iteration, we're just sticking to the 12 classes. We'll just be sticking with the 12 classes. So the first wildcard game is going to be Waterdeep Dragon Heist with a possible season 2, which will be Dungeon of the Mad Mage. This felt like Waterdeeper. This felt like the best series of games for the wildcard system. We've got a nice little adventure with Dragon Heist, and then when we go into season 2, if we go into season 2, we'll do Dungeon of the Mad Mage. So that is where that's going to be. Would there be multi-class or just single class per player? Multi-class does not work in a wildcard. So multi-classing will not be compatible with wildcard. I mean, you could do multi-classing. I mean, so we could actually do like a super wildcard or a version of these rules where everything's randomized in the sense that class features are randomly drawn per level. So you can just completely get rid of just classes in general, and you just keep drawing like 2 wildcard class features per level, and then kind of like draw or do all that and all that shit. So yeah, I mean, those are definitely options. We won't do that first. The way that I kind of presented it here is how we would be playing that. So I've been talking to people. I have 4 interested players. I'm currently looking for a 5th. I've got a couple of options for the 5th. I'm just waiting to see who gets back to me with their interest. And I don't want to make any announcements at who the players are. So, you know, in case it doesn't happen. So we'll actually have a official. So how do you? Oh yeah, proficiency with saving throws. So you have to choose 2 saving throws you're proficient in. You get to choose 2 saving throws that you're proficient in the group of saving throws. So if you got one class that gives you strength and dex saving throws and one class that gives you con and int, you have to choose 2 between strength, dex, con, and int. Yeah, I didn't want to do 4. You benefited from 4 because that'll be good. Keep the cast a secret and surprises. Yeah. So when we do the official announcement, you guys will know the cast at that point. Oh, also, let's see. We got 2 classes: class deck, character creation, party play event. Yep. Also, we have species / folk. Folk is what we call species in IO, by the way. Can be any species / folk can be chosen. However, you do not get any of their features because features are randomly drawn with wildcard. So I don't have the exact numbers, but effectively you could be like, it essentially lets people be like, I want to play an elf, I want to play a dwarf, I want to play a brackling, I want to play blah blah blah. You can be whoever the hell you want, and it doesn't matter what their features are, because your features are randomly picked and chosen as well. You're playing the aesthetic. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. You could just do that. It's like a roguelike randomizer. Yeah, a lot of this is going to be like randomization. So everyone's a multi-class? Yes and no. You get the features of both classes. So if you're a fighter wizard, you get the fighting style, but you also get the wizard spellcasting. You get the both of both worlds. So yeah, I guess it is multi-classing, but without having to, like, I pick this class this level and this class this level, and yeah. Dark Vision will be rolled into the smile. Dark Vision will be rolled into the features deck. If you get it, cool. And if you don't, well, I guess you don't have Dark Vision. Some species don't get Dark Vision. Some folks don't get Dark Vision. So yeah. Gestalt leveling. Yeah, this is based off, a little based off of 3rd edition's Gestalt leveling, but with randomization rules attached to it and fleshed out a little bit more. And also adding that Gestalt element over to monsters as well. Can you redraw wild cards? You get 1 redraw. So for the classes, that rotation keeps going until everyone has 2 classes. For the species and folk features, you get to draw and then choose if you want to redraw or keep that roll, but you have to keep whatever you redraw. With the wildcard abilities you get on level up, that's the same thing. You get to draw a card. You could choose to keep or draw another. So yeah. Will character size and movement be the randomizer? No, the size, so everyone moves 30 feet. Well, that's, you know, I don't like small races moving slower than everybody else. Everyone moves 30 feet. There may be a species or a folk ability wild card that gives you a speed boost. As far as sizes go, I don't use any size rules, really. Like, you know, small species can use heavy weapons, for example, and all that stuff. Is sunlight sensitivity in the pile of features? No, it won't be. It won't be. It won't be. I do like the idea of adding a flaw that everyone gets to draw from. I really do like that idea. But I don't know if I'll implement that in this first version. I don't want to go. This is a new play style, so I don't want to go too heavy. But I may include a flaw deck because people like playing with flaws sometimes, you know. So I may actually include that, where it's like you get 4. You get it. Probably the way I would do it if I were to include flaws is I would be like, okay, everyone gets to draw 4 species features, right? But you can draw 5 if you draw a flaw, an optional flaw card. Yeah, if you draw a flaw, you also get to do that. But I'd also probably make it where you have to keep whatever you draw. You can't just discard a flaw card. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then you would get an additional feature as a sort of like balance to that. So I would honestly love to do that. I would love to do something like that. I don't think I'm gonna do that this time, but I definitely can see myself adding that in the future. Woo-wee! All right, gang. That's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this fireside chat. I really do. This has been fun. I hope you guys are excited. How's everyone feeling? You guys excited for all these new announcements? I hope you all are looking forward to the future of IO. and IO Publishing. I don't think the fireside chats are going to be as long. So the fireside chats are something I'm going to be doing monthly. Kind of lets you know what I'm working on, what's being developed, kind of keep you guys in touch with what's happening in the future, because a lot of development is now being done in the back. And yeah, you posting this text file somewhere? I might not. Yeah, well, we're gonna be doing this monthly, essentially, kind of keep you guys in the loop with things that are going on. And also, normally at this point I do a Q&A, but we've been live for 3 hours now, which is definitely not something I'm used to. If you missed this stream, the stream VOD will be up on YouTube. It will be made available for everyone. It will not be a members only VOD like we do with all our other VODs on YouTube. So you will have a chance to actually look at this, check it out, and see what's new, what we're doing, all that stuff. So I like some of it. Some parts make me sad. What parts make you sad, Kala? What parts make you sad? I get it, chat. Change is scary, but we can't remain stagnant. Does that make sense? We can't just because we're afraid of change doesn't mean we shouldn't embrace it. Does that make sense? I will also say this. These confirmed Ganny cancellation, I confirmed that a while ago, friend. I'm sorry that you're finding out for this for the first time. Yeah, Ganymede was fun, but I felt like the party wasn't the right fit for the story that I wanted to tell. And that is no slight to the party. I think with that party, knowing how they are now, I would have told a different story. And I would rather not shoehorn a party into a story that they may or may not be interested in. Does that make sense? Because I feel like that would really lack that. That's not to say we're never going to come back to Ganymede. But it was fun. It just didn't fit with the narrative that was being told. I hope this gets your mental health. I hope so too. I hope so too. I genuinely do. But the cognitive dissonance was my favorite part. Yeah, well, it is what it is. I hope you'll come to terms with it, and I hope you'll give all the other campaigns another shot. Will they ever go to Nova Hellscape? I don't know. We'll never know. Maybe not. I don't have any plans currently for going back to the Nova Hellscape, but I'd like to. You never know. Really depends on what everyone does. Maybe we will. Hell, maybe we will. All right, guys. That's it for me. Join our Discord. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah. I'm hoping these... Oh! Another thing! Chat! Another thing on the new features. We're gonna have animated shorts soon. Once Deadbeats is released... with the new pre-recorded style and the new facelift to everything, we're gonna start releasing animations, short animations of scenes, which will also be animated by Birdwinar. We actually got one done. I don't want to show it because I want to wait, but it was really good, and so I feel very confident. It's gonna do well. Here, I'll actually, you know what? I'll show you a screen cap. I think I can do that. I think I can do that. Give me a second. Behold. Oh man, I gotta like actually create this. Hold on. So this is we've already got a complete short ready to go, but we're gonna wait until all the changes happen. It's great. It's fucking great. So, when does it start with pre-records? Pre-records aren't gonna start till like 2025. So yeah, we're already working behind the scenes. Everything's already in development. It's already moving through pretty quickly. But yeah, early 2025 is that. I'm still gonna be running Curse. Oh yeah, and also Curse of Strahd Hardcore. So Curse of Strahd Hardcore, we're approaching the season finale of that. I did not want to run Curse of Strahd Hardcore from beginning to end. I wanted to put a break in there. Maybe even a couple of breaks. Curse of Strahd is a very long-ass game. And there are other things that I'd also like to do, such as the wild card system that I talked to you about. So for Curse of Strahd, we'll eventually get to a season finale. It'll get to a pivotal point, and we'll get to a season finale. Curse of Strahd will be coming back. I have all the intentions in the world to have a season 2 of Curse of Strahd. I've been having a really great time. I believe the players have been having a really great time. And so, yeah. But we will eventually get a season hiatus, essentially, to let people not only catch up on it, but also to have new viewers kind of watch it. And then we'll announce the season 2 later on. But more than likely, those, and that'll be live. That schedule will be, we'll be doing like Curse of Strahd Hardcore Season 1, wrap that up. We'll get to the Dragon Heist wildcard, wrap that up. And then more than likely at that point, go back to Curse of Strahd Season 2. So that should be good. That'll be the plan moving forward. All right, Discord, discord.gg/worldofio, fiendishforge.com. Fiendish Forge you can get on pre-order now. You can buy it at fiendishforge.com. Then iopublishing.com. Purchase our book, Why Slay Dragons Be Fishing. And yeah, that's all I got for you. I'll be back. We're not doing Core Keeper tomorrow. I have to take care of my family. I'm doing a lot of cleanup for everybody because we did get hit with a pretty nasty hurricane. So I'm going to be spending a lot of my time just helping out, getting my family. So I'm more than likely not going to be available tomorrow to get the server up. So no Core Keeper tomorrow. It'll be back next week. Next time you'll see me is going to be Monday with Paw Patrol. And then we will also have Curse of Strahd Hardcore next Wednesday as well. And it's getting good. If you guys are sleeping on Curse of Strahd, you shouldn't. You should be watching that. It's been a great fucking story. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate y'all very much. All the VODs are going to be publicly available. It's going to be available on Twitch for 60 days. And it's going to be available on YouTube immediately, and it will not be behind membership. You guys will be able to watch the stream for free so that you can see everything that's coming up. Apologies if I hung on certain moments. That's unfortunately how my brain works. I'm still working on it, but but yeah. All right, bye guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all on Monday. For all that. Yeah, have yourself a wonderful day. Okay, bye bye.